Hello, welcome back to the channel. And today I am planning a road trip. So for the first week in September, we are going away up to Yorkshire. And because I've got an EV, I need to plan out my charging stops. So I thought in this video I would show you my planning ideas and also just have a quick look at what the prices are you're expected to pay per kilowatt hour depending on which provider you go to. I should say I'm probably only going to look at the main providers such as Gridserve, Apple Green, Instavolt, Tesla and so forth. Anyway, if you're watching this video and you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification icon because then you'll get notifications for any videos that I release in the future. And also be a massive help to me in the channel. Anyway, so I've actually filmed this from my parents' kitchen, so we've actually already started the journey at the point of filming this. But what we are doing is we are driving from Swansea to Caerphilly, where I am now. And then on Sunday we are going to drive up to Coventry to go to the Transport Museum. And we're going to stay overnight in Chesterfield, which is just south of Sheffield. On Monday, we're going to Chatsworth House, and then we are going up to, on Monday afternoon, we're driving up to Filey, which is just south of Scarborough. We're staying in a caravan there for 4 nights, but on Tuesday, we are guest teaching a tango class in Huddersfield in the evening. So we thought during the day, we're going to drive across to Hawes, down to Huddersfield, and then obviously back to Filey after we finish teaching. We haven't got any plans for the rest of the week up until Friday when we leave the caravan, other than the fact that we need to get to the Pontefract Travel Lodge because then we are teaching in Tadcaster over the weekend. And then on Monday we are driving back from the Pontefract Travel Lodge back to Swansea. So all in all, it's going to be about a 1,000-mile week of driving. And the car that I'm using is a Tesla Model 3 long range, which we found tends to have a range of around 300 miles when fully charged. So as you can see, we are going to have to stop. So if we were in a diesel at the high end I used to have, this would be actually relatively easy because that used to do about 750 miles per tank. So we would just have to charge once. Or fill up once somewhere and come back, and there's lots of regular petrol stations to fill up in. And also the price of petrol is fairly standardised across the country, and you wouldn't fill up on the services of the motorway. Because we've got an EV, we have to be a little bit more careful. So it's about 300 miles from Swansea to Filey. So we could make that on one charge. The problem we have is at this caravan site, which we've been to a year ago, there is destination chargers there. They're either 7 or 11 kilowatts. But when we've looked on the Zap map, they've been saying that they're not working. So we have to take that into consideration. So the initial plan is that we've driven to Caerphilly. I can plug in to my parents' house where they've got a 3-pin with a 3-pin charger and just charges overnight and just retop the battery till we've done about 50 miles, which has used about 10 to 15 kilowatts of the battery. So we can top it up there, and then we have 300 miles of range. What I'm not unsure about is whether at the Transport Museum in Coventry, if there are chargers. But I do know that there is a Tesla supercharger not far from the travel lodge that we're staying in Chesterfield. So our plan is to top the car up to 90% there, go to Chatsworth and then drive up to Filey and hope that those chargers are working and then top up the car to 100% because on Tuesday we have to drive about, I think it's 85 miles across the country to the Hawes Creamery. It's about another 50 miles down then to Huddersfield and then another 90 miles. So it's well over 200 mile day. So we will need to pretty much charge up the car. On the bright side, there are Tesla superchargers that we can use on the route back. But it is going to be late, so I don't particularly want to be stopping for half an hour to charge up the car then either. I prefer to go home and sleep, or back to the caravan and sleep. When we get to the Pontefract Travel Lodge, that's fine, there are Tesla superchargers there. So just trying to plan out where we're going. So when we used to have the MG, which was a year ago, we had to stop multiple times when we did a similar journey up to Filey, because we were teaching again there in Tadcaster again last year, and we like to combine it as a bit of a holiday. So, and what we find is that some chargers are just unreliable. So we've been to Gridserves in the past, plugged the MG in, and it just didn't charge. So we want to be able to make sure there's multiple options. If you watch previous videos, you know that I did our journey from Swansea up to Pontefract before, and I commented in that how many more chargers there are now around the country. But again, now it comes down to price. So it's universally regarded that Tesla offer the cheapest chargers. In fact, the range we find for Teslas can be down from about 25p up to about 50p, depending on what time of day you're charging. And that's if you're a Tesla owner or you have pay for the Tesla app. If you don't pay for the Tesla app, you can still use some Tesla chargers, and it's a little bit more expensive. I think the most common EV chargers we see on the motorways are Gridserves, and they are now charging 79p per kilowatt hour, which is quite expensive. It would in fact be cheaper to have a diesel that does 50 miles per gallon. Also, Apple Green seem to be cropping up a lot, and they seem to range, according to when I do a Google search, between 64 and 79p per kilowatt hour, depending on the speed of charger. The Gridserves, I should say, go up to about 300 kilowatts, but they also have a lot of 50 kilowatt chargers around, which we used to use in the MG because it only had a 70 kilowatt charger rate on it. Instavolt. I have got an Instavolt card. We did try to use it when we went up to Tadcaster, I think in April 2023, and we couldn't get our card to charge on it. Anyway, Instavolt, they seem to have an off-peak rate of 54p if you charge between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. And the rest of the time it's at 85p, which is right on the higher end of all the chargers. There's Osprey, which we've used a few times. They're now charging 79p. We've never had a problem with an Osprey charger when we have used it, other than the cost. And then taking the crown for the most expensive chargers I found in the UK, Shell charge up to 93p per kilowatt, which is a lot more expensive than diesel and over double the price of the Tesla chargers that we hope to use, but say just in case we don't. BP, they seem to be advertising at 79p. Again, these are all for the rapid chargers. They do have sort of the slower chargers, the 7 to 11 kilowatts or even 22 kilowatts. And some apps seem to have those at about 55p, which isn't too bad. If it's a destination charger and we're staying there for a few hours, we could top up there. And the final one is Podpoint, because if the destination chargers at the caravan park aren't working, then there is a Podpoint in the Lidl fairly close, which is a rapid charger, and that seems to be charging 65p, but if you have a Lidl app, it might be a little bit cheaper. So that's our plan for the coming week. I will document our journey up there and make a vlog about where we go and seeing if there are chargers in the places we go to, because there might be chargers at the Wednesday Day Creamery. Anyway, as always, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in another video very soon.